Hi, my name's Jennifer. I am 54 years old from St. Catharines, Ontario, and I am a proud transgender woman. And this is my fiance, Evelyn, and we are engaged to be married next May. I identify as bisexual. I am attract both men and women. After coming out, I joined a women's group that was incredibly accepting here in Niagara. About a year after joining the women's group, I was asked by the founder of the group if I would become a moderator, which is someone who helps with the group itself, hosts events, sometimes fills in for the founder of the group when she couldn't be at the meetings. At one point, the founder of the group became pregnant, and she asked me, would I run the group while she was off on maternity leave and dealing with her child? This gave me the unique opportunity to host these groups for a period of time. And during that time, one of the meetings, Evelyn came in. Because I was made to feel welcome, I felt it was my responsibility to pass that on and make everyone else feel as welcome when they first come into the group. So I always made it a habit of spending some time speaking to that person that just came in for the first time, because I know it's terrifying. So I made it a point to speak to her and make her feel comfortable as possible. And I kind of had this feeling inside that, hey, we kind of connect on a certain level. And she kept coming for about another 3 or 4 weeks. And I actually came home from a meeting one night and I spoke to my mom and I said, I think I met a woman that I'm very interested in. I think I might actually ask her out. The funny thing is a few weeks before that, I had basically given up on dating. I actually announced to the group that I'm done. I'm not going to ask anyone else out ever again. I'm not going to put my heart out there ever again, because I had it crushed. But I came home and I told my mom, I think I might ask her out for a coffee. And literally that Sunday, we meet on Tuesday nights. I was going to ask her that Tuesday night. On Sunday, Evelyn called me and said, would you like to go out for a coffee? And so she beat me to the punch. It was funny. We went out for coffee and it was like two schoolgirls, but we were laughing and giggling so much at each other. We were both so nervous. And that's basically all that happened, right? And so we talked a little bit and we kind of hit it off. And then we started going out afterwards on a couple of dates. And then finally we went to Niagara Falls for dinner one night and walked down to the falls. And that was the first time we kissed. And it's been wonderful ever since that date. And last September, the love of my life asked me to marry her. And so this has been incredibly, I know it's been difficult because of COVID, but last year was a wonderful year because my future wife asked me to marry her. So I'm very happy about that. I realized that there was something different about me at a very young age. I would say probably maybe 8 or 9 years old. I realized that I was different from all the other boys, as it were. I didn't quite fit in. I was always more interested in what girls were doing and what they had to do. I think the first time I realized something was different was going to school one day at the very first day of school and realizing that, hey, all these girls look so pretty and wearing pretty clothes. And it's like, I'm just wearing jeans and a shirt. And I'm going, I wish I could wear what they were wearing. And I think that's one of the first inklings I had that something was a little different with me. I grew up in a Catholic family and was going to Catholic school and Catholic high school, and always realized there was something a little bit different about me, but couldn't quite identify what it was. And back in those days, you never heard the word transgender in school, especially a Catholic school. The word just simply never came up. And it was very difficult for me growing up because I didn't have anyone to go to turn to and to find out, why do I feel so different inside? And that caused a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And I realized that I was very attracted to the female sides of things, that I didn't really fit in with the boys that much. As I got older, I kind of did a little bit more research and found out that there were people that didn't identify with the sex that they were born with, that their gender was different, and kind of understood a little bit more about what I was. And it did make it tough. We went to church every single week, and there's always seemed to be every so often this sermon in regards to how the gays and people who identify as transgender are abominations in the eyes of God. And this made me very confused, because I thought, well, how can I be an abomination of God? God creates everybody in a certain way, and here I am being told that because of how I feel inside, that I'm not welcomed by God. And this led to suicidal thoughts as a teenager. In fact, on 2 separate occasions, I grabbed a bunch of pills and a bottle of alcohol and was going to end my life on at least 2 or 3 different occasions. And I got perilously close to doing so, but I'm very glad that I did not, because life got better eventually. I suppressed these feelings as much as I could, but every so often I would engage these feelings. I would go out and buy clothing and try it on, and it just felt so wonderful to do so. And it wasn't anything sexual, but it just felt like this is what I believe I should be. I definitely feel like I'm a girl. And I had to suppress these feelings because of the school I was going to, the people that I live with, my parents. I didn't feel comfortable coming out to them. Then life kind of got in the way, and I met a woman, got married to her, had a child, did the whole life thing, tried to present as male as best as I could. I even joined a service group that was all men, and tried to give back to the community. And the funny thing about it is that I did this, and I worked with a lot of young folks, and I used to teach kids how to umpire baseball games, believe it or not. And it was always the female umpires that I seemed to take the most care for. And I realized it's like I felt this way inside. And eventually it got to the point that when I was approximately 50 years old, I had a life crisis, a life-threatening crisis. I had been diagnosed about 10 years earlier with type 2 diabetes, and everything was going well. I was in good health, and then all of a sudden everything went to heck in a handbasket, and my health started deteriorating. I couldn't keep my sugars under control. My stomach was always hurting. I had all kinds of pain in my abdomen, and my doctor couldn't figure out what was going on. And after about 3 to 6 months of suffering with this pain and with the high blood sugars, he sent me to a specialist who diagnosed me with a rare type of diabetes, which probably nobody's heard of. It's called diabetes 1.5, or also known as LADA, which is latent autoimmune onset of diabetes in adults. And it's an autoimmune disease that mimics diabetes 2, but it's actually slightly different. And it almost killed me. It was threatening to kill me, at least. My pancreas was being attacked by the insulin that I was taking, and I was at a point where if it had continued much longer, I could have gotten to the point where my pancreas couldn't have recovered. And that kind of shook me. And I realized at that point that all these feelings that I had inside that I've been suppressing, it's over. I had to be happy. I needed to start living my life the way I wanted to. All my life, I felt that I kept this hidden and down, and anyone who would talk to me would say that there was always this thing underneath the surface that I was hiding from people, and that I didn't seem happy, that I had anger issues. I didn't seem happy. I didn't like myself. I don't know how other people could have liked me at that point. So finally, I decided that it was time to come out to the world. In the fall of 2017, I started coming out to my family. And on February 17th, 2018, a day I picked intentionally because it's my birthday, I had what I called my rebirth day. And I identified myself to the world as Jennifer. for the first time ever and started living as female from that day forward. And it was the happiest day of my life. My family totally accepted me when I came out, which has made my life very, very comfortable. And to celebrate, I went out and got my hair done that day, had my makeup done, and my family took me out to the Mandarin for lunch that day. It was a very, very special day. I came out to my bosses at work about 2 weeks earlier, telling them that I would be coming out as female after February 17th. And my bosses were very accepting, and so much so that my boss sent me flowers the first day that I came to work as Jennifer. They have been behind me 100% right from the start, which has made things very easy for me. When I decided to come out, I know a lot of women will wait until they can somewhat pass as female before they came out, but I decided I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait till I passed. So I came out right away. And I know I didn't come anywhere close to passing as female. And of course, it made it difficult walking down the street and going to supermarkets and whatnot, and getting the stares, getting the dirty looks, getting the comments. But I was taught by my mother to always walk with your head held high and a smile on your face. So I've always had that in my heart, is that despite all the odd looks, just keep walking. You know you're a woman, you know it inside, just keep walking and own it. Be yourself, always be yourself. And I don't care that I didn't pass. I was proud to be transgender. And yeah, eventually the hormones kicked in and the hair started growing in, and I started liking the woman that I seen in the mirror a lot more, and I started giving her a lot more smiles as the days went on.
She's had her rough days. She's had her good days. She's had her bad. I do my best to keep her focused, and I try to keep her, I just try to calm her, and I always tell her that you're a wonderful person, or you're special. No, I just try to help her through when she has the rough days.
Part of that roughness was suffering constant delays in my gender confirmation surgery. I was eligible for surgery almost a year and a half ago. And unfortunately, my endocrinologist was at the point of retiring. And as such, I had asked him to send a letter to the government in order to fund my confirmation surgery. And on 3 separate occasions, over a period of 7 months, he had failed to do so. And so I was getting depressed because it felt like I was never going to get this surgery. And Evelyn helped me through these depressive moments, and it was really, really bad. And it was tough because it felt like it was taking forever to get it. And finally, my psychiatrist got involved and basically pushed him in order to get the letter written. And my psychiatrist also wrote to Montreal in order to kind of ask them, hey, listen, this woman's been waiting for 7 months for this doctor to send the paperwork in. Is there any way that you can rush her surgery through, because she shouldn't be penalized because this doctor didn't do his job? And so they did. But guess what? COVID hit. And so it delayed everything again. And so a surgery that I should have had over a year and a half ago, I only got done last month. So it was a rough time. There was very dumb times, and Evelyn helped me through it.
Yeah, because a lot of the words I says, it'll come. There's always an obstacle. Obstacles always stop something. But it will go through. It's just going to take time. And the same thing I said, because COVID showed up, it's just delaying. But I just kept telling her, it'll come.
Yeah, and it did, and she was right. My life is wonderful. My work is going very well. We're very busy at work, and I've never had any issues with any of our customers. Most of my customers, I work in customer service, so I speak directly to all of the customers for our company throughout all of the United States, Canada, Europe, and they've all been very accepting. All of them know basically that I've come out. I had one of our customers one time send me an email, and she referred to me as ma'am in the email. And I said, I was having a very bad day that day. And I basically replied back to her, said, thank you for the email, and especially thank you for the ma'am. I really needed that today. And she goes, well, of course you need that. I have a transgender brother, and I know what kind of crap they go through. And she goes, I am behind you 100%. And if anybody has any issues, send them my way. I'll give them a throat punch for you. So that was wonderful. So all of my customers that I deal with have been very accepting. Life has been wonderful, and it seems to be getting better all the time. I have family members that have been very supportive. I have a biological son from my first marriage, and I have a chosen son who is transgender, and he's a very big part of my life, and he is going to be part of our wedding party. So I have a lot of interesting people in my life that make it worth living and make me very happy to be in the community that I'm in. Probably the biggest dream, and everybody knows it that talks to me, is to eventually build a gay commune on a big farm somewhere and have all of my friends come and live with us. But probably the most important dream to me is to grow older with this woman. We don't never say grow old, because we don't want to grow old. We just want to get older. And just try to meet as many wonderful, interesting people as I can. Hopefully to share my experience as a trans woman with other people, to hopefully give them hope for the future, and to try and live as authentically as I can myself and be out there, hopefully as an example as to how wonderful being trans can be. I would probably want to remind myself in the future that you are worthy of love, that you deserve the love that you're receiving, that you are a likable person, that you are a lovable person, and that the love that you're receiving is because of the person that you are, and that you deserve to be happy. Finally, in your life, you deserve this happiness. My future, I would say, is very bright. I'm waiting to become a grandmother. I'm trying to convince my 2 sons to get busy and try and fulfill that. But other than that, I'm at a place where I'm incredibly happy, and I'm hoping that that stays the same the rest of my life. I've just recently had gender confirmation surgery. In fact, just a month ago yesterday, I had gender confirmation surgery. I am at a place where I am now comfortable with my body. I am very happy. I basically just want to grow old with this woman, and I want to hopefully spread the love that I've been given by all these other people as far as I can spread it. So that is what I'm hoping for the future. Always come from a place of love in your heart. Always think about the person first that you're speaking to, because the words that you can say can really hurt people. And we need to make sure that when you talk to somebody, it's always from a place of love and not from a place of hurt. Just because you have certain beliefs doesn't mean that those beliefs have to be pushed on to other people. Trans people exist. We deserve to exist. We're not going to be erased. And just because you have certain beliefs doesn't mean that your beliefs have to affect my life in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to exist, trying to be happy. I'm not going to push my values on you. I don't need your values to be pushed on to me. I have a right to exist. The best way that people could help me is just to be supportive of the trans community. I've had a lot of love and support, but I know there's a lot of trans women and trans men out there, and non-binary people, that don't have the love and support of their family or their friends. In fact, my trans son doesn't have the support of his mother. And so these people need help. These people need support. And so if you see somebody suffering, try to be there for them. Try to be that person that they can go to and share their feelings with and open up to them. Try to be there to support others, because even if you have it good and easy, not everybody's in that same boat. So try to be as supportive of your community as much as possible.